Hello, welcome back to another video from All American Arts. I know it's been a little bit. I'm going to try to keep up on my videos a little bit better now. I've been super busy. Today I'm going to show you how I do these commercial graphics. It's a 3-color design that I'm going to be doing in this video. I'm going to kind of show you a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the time that I've been doing it. So make sure you like and subscribe. Check out all my other videos, and there's going to be a lot more coming. Alright, so these are the decals I'm removing on a trailer. We got both sides and the back. I'll be removing these ones and adding 3 different colors on there for the new decals. I already got this side done. Kind of show you how I take them off and install them in this video. So I'm going to set you down here and then we'll get to work on the back. Alright, so you don't even want to attempt to take decals off without a heat gun. You can just get these right at Home Depot or Menards. Cheapest place to get them is, of course, on Amazon or anywhere online. Also, you're going to want a plastic scraper. Don't want to use a regular razor blade because that's just going to take off the paint. So to start by heating it up. Once you got the first letter heated up and you're scraping that one, what I like to do is I like to lead with my other hand. So I'm heating the next one up while I'm scraping the other one off. That will keep you moving, otherwise you got to do this and then scrape it off and then heat it up again. So just heat it up and it'll come right off. As I'm scraping that one, I'm heating this next one up. Don't want to get it extremely hot, so keep the heat gun moving. This would take hours without a heat gun. Probably an hour just to get one letter off. I actually tried it because I didn't have my heat gun with me. So just start heating it up again, and then once you got that first one heated up, just keep moving your heat gun along with the razor blade in your other hand. As you can see, if you just keep leading it with your other hand, kind of perfect timing, gives it just enough heat to make it ready for you to scrape it off once you're done with the previous letter or design, whatever you're taking off. With this plastic razor blade, there's no way you can really harm the paint. Sure you guys get the point of this though. So I'll turn you off and be back with you when I spray on the glue off and rub it all down. Alright, now I got all 3 sides peeled off. Makes quite a mess on the floor. It's really not too sticky anymore though, so it kind of sweeps right up. I just like to douse it with some goop off. Get quite a bit on there. I just let the first little bit just soak on there for a while. Don't be stingy, otherwise it's just going to take you longer anyway. You can kind of see, or I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it pretty much comes off just by spraying it. Not too much left on this side. It all kind of came off when I was scraping it. So let that soak on there for a little bit. I already put some on this side before, so I'm just going to spray it again now. And then I'll scrape it with the scraper to get all that extra stuff off. Kind of go over it all. I will loosen it up even more. You just grab some soap and water, wipe it down. I'm going to bring it to the car wash, but I probably still will wipe it down here first. You're going to want to wash it really good because you don't want any of this adhesive remover on there when you go put your new vinyl on. It's going to make it hard to stick. Plus you want it as clean as possible so you don't see much of this other graphic on there. You still will see some if it's been on there for a long time. It's going to be sun baked. So make sure you tell your customer that. It's going to be slightly different color. But once you put your other stuff on there, the eye is going to be drawn to that anyways, so. Now that I kind of went over that, I'm going to go get some soap and water. Wipe it all down quick. Like I said, just soap and water. Take and wipe it down. And as you can see, it's pretty much completely gone. I can barely even see the old stuff unfaded or anything. So it actually came out pretty good. I'm still going to take it to a car wash though and actually clean it a lot better. I don't want to do it all in my garage here because then my garage floor is going to be soaking wet. And I live in Minnesota, so it's kind of cold. So when you're washing it, you want to make sure you clean every square inch of it, even the parts that you're not putting vinyl on, because when you're working with vinyl, it causes a lot of static and it'll draw in a lot of dust. You can get soap on there, just try not to use any wax or anything. And make sure you get all the soap off. Now that I got it all clean, just going to take my air hose with the blower, get the water out of this track that I know it's trapped in. I'm just going to wipe it down quick. I'm going to crank my heater up. I want to make sure it's nice and warm in here when you apply the new stuff. So I'm going to start my heater and let it dry off the rest of the way while I'm cutting the vinyl. Normally I'd be cutting it while I was peeling off the other vinyl and stuff, but for video purposes everything's kind of backwards and mixed around and stuff. So I'll just sort of dry it off and then let it air dry the rest of the way. So before you go to your computer, you're going to want to take some measurements. I know that my image is going to max out height-wise before length-wise. So I'm going to measure down from here down to the wheel well. I got 39 inches. So I'm going to probably go 37. Actually, I'm going to go with 36. Give me a little bit more wiggle room here. So write that down, 36 tall. Then we'll go around to the back side. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult because there's stuff back there. So back here I got this handle here. I can take that off so that's not going to really get in my way. I'm going to just measure from here to here. I'm not going to deal with taking them off. Got about 42 inches. So I'm going to leave myself a couple inches on each side. So we'll go with 38. So I got a max of 38 long. And I know this ain't gonna really mess with me here. So just write down 38 long. Alright, so today I'm using a US cutter, laser 2, 31.5 inches it can cut up to. It's going to be 3-color design, black, red, and blue. So this is my design here. Like I said, black, red, and blue. So we're going to start out obviously by making it. I already had it made, but you can simply just find clip art online, or you can buy clip art packages. So I made this up with some simple clip art and fonts that I had. So you take that. So our first one's going to be 36 inches tall. So you come up to here, type in 36 inches. And that puts it at 53 inches long. So you can always go out and double check that, but I know it's going to work. So we need 2 of them, 1 for each side. So we're going to duplicate that. Now we got 2, and we'll duplicate it 1 more time. Then we'll resize that one for our back, which is going to be 38 inches long. So we'll type in 38 up here, 38 long, and that puts it at 25 inches tall to keep everything proportionate. You can always stretch it out if you want to fill up more area and stuff, but we're going to leave it how it is. Alright, so we're good with all of our sizes. How I'm going to do this, I'm going to separate everything by color and cut everything. You're going to just have to piece it together on the trailer itself. You can do it with registration marks and stuff, but that's just going to be more of a pain, and it also wastes more vinyl, because where like the blue is, you'd have a gap there in your vinyl that you're cutting. So I'm going to take all the black. I go ahead and ungroup, and I take this black here, actually I'm going to do this a different way. Now undo that, so you can select it all here. Go up to edit, select by, and you can do color. And I click on the black. That's gonna select all my black here. So now I got that. Just because I was about to grab some of them bubbles there. So now I can put that real tight to the other one, so I don't have to waste as much vinyl. I forgot to ungroup these before I did that, so I'm going to have to do it again. But so now ungroup both of these. Go up here, select by color, do black again. Now I got the black out of that one. Do it again for this one. Oops, messed that up there. Double clicking too fast. Alright, so now I got all my black separated. I'm gonna squeeze them all together here. And you can take this, move it all out of the way, get your vinyl to size. I'm using 30 inch for my black. and I got 24 for the other colors. So we're going to stretch the page out to 30 inches. Then you can do whatever for the length, whatever you think it's going to come out to. So we take this, get it all on the page, however you can do it without wasting vinyl, you know. So you want to leave some room on each side. Got to make our length a little bit longer here. So as you can see, I got a little extra room. So I'm going to go up here, go to import. I'm going to throw some of my logo in there just to take up some extra room, because I can always use more of my logos. Just we're calling it fillers. If you got stickers you want to make, throw them in there so you're not just wasting vinyl. And if you've never used this kind of software before, this is called Vectorize, where it separates it by color. You got to vectorize each image as you bring it in. As you can see, this is 3 different colors. And I press trace here. That will trace it out per color. Click accept. I'm going to change it all to black. Obviously it's going to cut out all black anyway. Shrink it down a little bit. I don't need 12-inch stickers. So throw that in there, duplicate a couple times. And turn them the other way, fill it in a little bit better. Get one more in there. Alright, so we got all that. That's going to be all the black for each side in the back. So we'll put the black vinyl in the cutter, get that loaded up and start cutting that. Alright, so like I said, US cutter, laser point 2. I mostly use Oracal 651 vinyl and Oracal transfer tape. So since I'm using 30-inch, I'm going to spread this out a little bit. Spread my rollers out. Then the blade can only go so far that way. So you put that on the edge, kind of eyeball it straight so it comes through straight. Lock your rollers down, and then you can pull this out and watch where your blade is to see how far you're off. Because otherwise, if you're cutting something 10 feet long, by the time you get way over there, your blade's going to be way off if you're crooked, if your roll's coming through crooked. So I got to move this a little bit that way. Pull it through, kind of to see if it's riding. So I'm good there. I got an 1/8 inch on this side, and it's staying pretty consistent as I pull it through. If you don't do that, like I said, you're going to be cutting off. You're not even going to be cutting on the vinyl in some circumstances. So we're good there. I'm going to run my speed at 600. Then my pressure's at 210. I'm going to bump that down a little bit just because my vinyl has been cutting a little deep. It's all where you set your blade, because the blade is adjustable as well. So it's going to be different for everything. You got to just figure it out. Cut some small little things until you get it just right. So I got that all set up. Bring it back up here. Click on the blade here. First, you want to make sure you're just selecting the black. As you could just see, that it was pulling up everything on the whole page, all the red and stuff too. So select all your black, click on the blade to cut it. Now you can see there that it's just showing what's on the page, what I selected. Media width, 30 inches. Then you just press cut now. Proceed with cutting. And let it go to town. So as I'm sure most of you know, removing the excess vinyl that you don't want is called weeding. And since I just cut over 12 feet of vinyl, what I'm going to do is weed out the last part that I seen it cut, just to make sure that my blade was set right and it didn't get too dull while I cut all that stuff out. So I'm just going to trim out the little section here and weed that out to make sure it's good to start cutting the next color. You don't have to weed it all because you don't want to be waiting on your vinyl cutter. So I'm just going to do this little section I seen it do last. I'm not cutting all the way through. I'm just cutting through the top layer, the actual vinyl itself. So just start peeling it off nice and slow. As you can see, I had a little piece get hung up there, so it can be a little bit deeper of a cut. And that's why I do this, especially after cutting that much. So I'll just bring the blade down a little bit on the next color. So I'll adjust the blade here. With that, I'm just gonna unscrew this here just a tiny bit, bring it down just about a little, probably not even a 1/16 of a turn. Throw that back in here. So now that we're done with the black, don't want to delete it just in case something does go wrong. Trying to get the exact size again is kind of a pain. So just leave that on the side there. Come up here. Just because these little squares are a separate piece and I ungrouped it all, we're going to regroup that. My computer wasn't freezing up. Alright, so we'll bring that down here. Turn it sideways. I gotta go to 24 inches up here for my vinyl size. Put that there. These bubbles, I'm sure I can fit inside of here, so I'm not wasting that spot there. Grab the other one. Just kind of move everything around until you can get it in there without wasting as much as you can. And zoom in here a little bit, and then you can kind of move it around even better. As you can see, I'm gonna have a little extra again. There's really no way around it sometimes. So what you do, go to import, just find an image. Maybe you gotta give out some Christmas presents or something. Just find a basic image that people might like. A lot of times I just make extra decals just to go put it on my garage wall. Got a little collage going. Vectorize that. Little ironworker decal here. And I actually add some text to that. Change the font to whatever you want. I like the stencil font a lot, especially for ironworker stuff. And just go and throw a couple of them in there. Group it together before you duplicate it, otherwise you're going to be trying to move around separate pieces. So I'm going to duplicate that a bunch of times. A lot of times I'll make decals like this, bring them into work, tell the guys buy me lunch or something. I'll give them some stickers. Good way to get free lunch. So we got that all laid out. As you can see, I'm tight to this side. So when I put my vinyl in there, I want to make sure the blade's hanging over on that side. So I'm not cutting nothing. Doesn't matter that that's black as long as you select it all. Go up to cut. Oh, double clicking again too fast. Cut it there. As you can see, it's all set up there. Shows how long it is and how wide. So I'll throw the red in the vinyl cutter and get that going. while the red's cutting, just go ahead and weed out the rest of the stuff. I like to do it in sections. So I'm just going to cut out each part. Otherwise you're trying to pull 30 inches of vinyl and hold on to it all. Falls all over and sticks to the stuff that you want. This makes for a mess. So just cut through the top layer, separate it all. It'll make it a lot easier. You'll have less mess ups and won't have to recut it all. So I'm sure you guys get the whole cutting and weeding concept. So I'm going to cut that out, get everything cut and weeded, and I'll come back to put the transfer paper on, get that on video for you guys. Alright, I got all that cut and weeded out. There's going to be people on YouTube that still say I wasted vinyl, and those are the people that have never done a commercial vehicle or anything. They just make 6x6 stickers all day long. Like, I could have got more in here, but it's not worth it. It's not worth dealing with trying to get all that little detail out while you're trying to get a vehicle done or a trailer done for somebody. So we're going to start putting transfer paper on. Start with the blue here. Get as much stuff off there as you can. I got a dog, so I got hair everywhere, but it's not going to be on there as long as you don't get it underneath the vinyl itself. It's not going to be on the vehicle or the trailer, whatever you're doing. So grab your transfer paper here. Like I said before, I use oracal transfer paper as well. I've tried many different kinds, and this is definitely the best stuff I've ever used. So what you do, get a couple feet out like that, have it bend in the middle, kind of line it up, get it started here. Slowly work from the middle out that way, pushing all the air out up to the roll itself. If you get air bubbles in your transfer paper, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to be in the vinyl itself, but it is nice to get it as smooth as possible. Otherwise it could mess you up when you're putting it on. if you get like some really bad wrinkles in it. So as you can see, I got a couple feet done there, absolutely no bubbles. It's all tight, so I can pull this nice and tight. What I also did is I left a little bit to grab the floor there so I can pull against it. What I do is run the squeegee right down the center, all the way to the end, and then just work it out. Never push the air towards the center, always push it out. Make sure you rub it down really good. And once you go to pull the transfer paper off, all the vinyl is going to come with it. It's really a pain when you go to pull your transfer paper and you got a really big piece, like say one of these big first cleans, and something's not coming with and you already got 3 feet out. It's kind of harder to do by yourself, so you want to make sure you rub it down really good so you don't have to go through that struggle. So once you got all your transfer paper on there, you can go ahead and separate the pieces. And I've already done YouTube videos where I made stickers and stuff. People tried to give me crap for cutting on my floor. I plan on redoing it, putting carpet over it anyway. So that's why I don't really care. It's just like a big workbench for me right now. Plus I have dogs that, or a dog that scratches it all up anyway. So on these bigger ones here, you could separate it all and then put transfer paper on it, but I'm just going to put two rows down, and it will overlap a few inches, and then I'll cut it. Then on the 30-inch, just because I got a couple inches here, it's going to overlap a couple inches in the middle. So that'll work out perfect. So get a couple feet out again. Make sure you leave enough to stick on the floor. And that'll make it so you can line it up straight. So get that down worked out. You can just slowly work it all the way to the end. It's the best way to do it by yourself. Slowly work it back and forth. And something this long, if you're getting, mine's going to work out perfect, but if you're getting too far off one side where you're not going to catch the vinyl at the end, just cut the transfer paper, overlap it a couple inches, and rerun it. guys can't really see in the video, but there ain't a single air bubble all the way back there. You just got to kind of work it back and forth. Just do it real gently right now, and then once you get the whole run down, you can go back and rub it down really good. When you're doing two rows like this, make sure you don't go like that and hit your vinyl, because you will mess up the other stuff that you don't have transfer paper over. So always kind of go backwards on it. Give it the good old backhand. This dog hair off of here. Get a couple feet started again. And I'll just go ahead and cut all that out, and I'll do the black. Sure, I don't have to show you guys that. It all just takes a little practice. Find the best way that works for you, but that's definitely the easiest way I've ever been able to do it. Just get 2 feet out, get it started enough to hold onto the floor so you can keep pressure on it, and then just run it the whole length. You'll be good to go. Alright, now that we got everything cut with transfer paper on it, first thing I did, I got the trailer as level as possible going off this track. That's obviously what your eye is going to see. I'm not going to use the level to put the vinyl on, but it's just to help me so it doesn't mess with my eyes while I'm installing it. Next thing, I already measured it out. And then find center of the trailer itself from this track to the back track, which is 47 inches. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape there. Just as a visual reference. So this thin little line is my center. And obviously the best thing to have would be magnets, but this is aluminum. So when you're working with aluminum or plastic, you gotta use tape. So I have your roll of painter's tape or masking tape. Really anything works. And what I'm going to do here is measure out this sticker, find center of that. Alright, so I got my center marked out there. I'm going to throw that up there, just like that. Just stick it there for now. We're going to be moving it around. If it was just words, it would be a lot easier, because you just measure down wherever you need it, but I got the house above it. So we got to make sure that's going to fit here, which obviously I put it too high. Way too high. That's why we don't just go sticking stuff on here yet. So that looks good there. We want it to come, you ain't gonna be able to see it in the camera, but it's right above my C here. I can see through the couple layers there. That's going to be right at the tip. And then this is going to be right at the beginning of the F. I'm going to stick that on there. And what I can do, I got the two squares here, so I can measure down from this side to that side of the square, measure down from here to that side of the square, and then I can get that center. So 8 3/8, 8 3/8, so that's perfect right there. Try not to move it. This is obviously going to be different for every application. So we're good there. What I'm going to do is just trim away some of this excess. So I can see everything a little bit better. This is where you gotta be careful when you're working on customer vehicles. I gotta move this over just a tiny bit. My F is gonna hit. In the wrong spot there. Alright, so this lines up here nice and close to there like it did in the picture. That's what I'm going for. Try to make it look like it was when I sent them the picture of it. And what we'll do, measure down. This side's already set, so we're going to start over here. That's exactly 21 from that track to the bottom of the letter. Come over here, I gotta go up just a little bit. Once we get this set, it's pretty easy from then on, because it's all just words. So that's all set there. You can double check it with the level. Make sure you're going off of flat letters, as you can see like the C and stuff comes down further. That's perfectly level right there. So what you do, I'm going to start with the big words here. And then make what you call a hinge. So you come right in the middle. If you were to be using magnets, you just put your magnets in the middle. Take this side off. Start peeling your transfer paper, making sure everything comes with it. Nice and slow. What you can do here, put a piece of tape to hold that. Take your knife, cut the backing paper. Don't do it right at the hinge because then you're getting too close to the surface that you're working with the knife. Then you take that, making sure you're pulling it nice and straight. Then just start working it on, just like you're putting transfer paper on. Just moving about a ½ inch at a time. Try not to block it from it. So once you get it all down, go ahead and push a little bit harder on it. You get a bubble trapped in there, you can always take your knife and just poke it a little bit. Most small bubbles will come out in the sunlight. Once you get the sun baking on it for a while. But I'm in Minnesota right now and it's pretty cold. So I don't really want too many bubbles trapped in there. So go ahead and remove your hinge now that it's stuck on there. It can't go anywhere. You can fold it this way. Already got a piece of tape there. Got my center piece of tape but for now, we're just gonna work it in there. Could have just moved it over if you're doing your own vehicle or whatever. If you don't care about it being exactly center, could just move it over to one of the gaps or whatever, but I want it to be center. Sometimes you gotta deal with obstacles. Like on the back, I have to go over that handle and stuff. Take and rub it down really good. You ain't gonna want to be as rough with it after you take the transfer paper off, because you can scratch the vinyl itself. You can still go over the vinyl and rub some bubbles out after the transfer paper is off, but try to avoid it as much as you can. Once you got that down, go ahead, start peeling off your transfer paper nice and slow. So what I'm going to do here, take a nice sharp knife and put it in the seam itself. Just ride it down. Then take your squeegee and work it in there. And this piece you'll want to tuck around. Make sure you don't leave it just flopping there, otherwise water will get behind it. Got one tiny little bubble here. just when you got a seam like that, if you don't do it by itself, you're gonna get some little air trap behind there, but that was actually really good. Only one little tiny bubble. There you go, you got the hardest part done, biggest part. It's all cakewalk from there. You already got your starting point, so just measure down, leave an inch or whatever between however much you left on the computer. I'm going to do the house here quick. Same thing, I'm just going to make a hinge. You can do wet application. Sorry, I can't speak right now. Wet application. I've never had to do it, but if you got letters that are super big, like say 20 inches wide or whatever by itself, you might want to do that because it's really hard to do that without air bubbles getting trapped in there. Again, we're at the seam here. So I'm just going to roll that over. there's that. These are kind of at the same height above the LLC. So just kind of eyeball it in there. If you're off a little bit on something like this, only you're going to know. Plus, someone can only look at one side at a time, so try your best to get it in the same spot, but no, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Now we'll get our blue. Got all my vinyl on the table right behind the camera. What we're going to do, grab a couple pieces of tape. Throw that up there. Line it up where you think it needs to be. Then we'll measure from there. So I made the image flush on each side all the way down. I come down here 3/4 of an inch. Stick that back on there. Come over here. Three-quarters of an inch. I'm going to come back over here, double check this, just because it does pivot a little bit. Still perfect there. And this worked out perfect, so I got my ending before that seam, so I don't have to cut anything on this one. I'm also going to put my hinge right there. Whenever you can put a hinge where there ain't no decal, it's always the best. Just because sometimes you get air trapped there when you fold it this way, work it out, and then like this one here, when I picked that up, rubbed it down this way, I had to come back. I kind of stretch it if you pull too hard, and you can get air trapped under there as well. So it's always best to try to put your hinge where you don't have anything, if possible. Even if you have half of it way longer than the other half. Take that, stick it over here, add your knife, cut that away, make sure you're pulling it nice and even. stay out of the way of the camera so you guys can see everything my best. Take your hinge off of here. I find this blue painter's tape works the best. As you can see, I just put tape on here. Some other tapes will leave residue on your vinyl. That's the finished product there. As you can see, it wasn't too hard. Like I said, if you get any air bubbles that you notice, they will come out in the sun if they're not too big. But if not, just go ahead and poke it with a pin or a knife and it'll come right out. I'm going to go ahead and do the other sides here. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Give me a big thumbs up. In my next video, I'm going to show you how I make a little bit more money than just doing decals. Obviously, it's hard to make a living off of just doing decals, even though it's not my full-time job. So yeah, check out the next video. I'll show you another easy way of making a little bit more money with your vinyl cutter. Thanks for watching.